Hey guys, so this is part two, and as you can see, I went ahead and decided to make a pattern because I just didn't know any way else to get around it. I mean, I guess I could have draped it, but whatever. I made a pattern, and the way I made a pattern is like before I wrapped her up with some saran wrap, and then I used masking tape, and then I just drew a pattern on her the way that I wanted it to look. And as you can see, I draw a little arrow so I know which way is up and down. And I had to be really careful cutting this off of her because usually I use a spare doll, but because she had the enhancements, I had to cut it off of her. And look, I nicked her a little bit. So, but that, she was fairly unscathed. Anyway, I decided to do a voiceover here because the sewing part of this was kind of long and I hand sewed. So I didn't feel like there was much I could be saying in between all that hand sewing. So I went ahead and sped it up a little bit. But the pattern is just right now basically a tube top with a couple of arm sleeves. And I cut in. I tried it on there, of course, to make sure that it was that it's still. I don't know why, but I cut a couple of darts in there so that when I sew up, I can cut the fabric. It'll be a little bit bigger, and then when I sew it up, it'll curve around her body, and that worked out just fine. I actually could have cut those a little bit bigger, but that's the pattern. And I noticed when I was doing this, when I was looking at it, I was like, dang, that background's not very good for this, for the pattern. You can barely see it there. I'm doing another little arrow here because I need direction. That's the up. So I decided to use and I think I mentioned it before, the fabric that I used for the Practical Magic dolls. This was the fabric, and I have so much of it, and I couldn't find anything that was green and red. Even though it's Christmas, it's coming close to Christmas time and things are out, there was nothing at this scale that I could find. So I decided to go ahead and use this, and I was going to use a marker to color it in, but that was just too light. I think I showed it in the last video. So what I ended up doing later on, that's not in this video yet, but it will be, because this voiceover is only going to be for 8 minutes, and then it'll go on to the face, and I'll be doing the face. So this is just a short intro of where I just cut the pattern out and I hand sewed it together, just the arms and the tube top. And later on, I will, not in this video, but in a future video, I will be distressing it, painting it, and adding a skirt onto it, because when I showed it to the girl, she was like, she didn't really like the skirt I had, the little separate skirt. She liked the idea of it more of a dress. So I ended up adding fabric to the tube top part later, but that's not in this video. I only did just the basics to this. I was kind of all over the place. I almost cut that part, and then I thought, you better not. You better just sew it together and then trim it off after you sew it, so you make sure that it's easy for you. So what I did was I just drew in little markers where I would actually be sewing those darts in. Anyhow, there it all is, and I still have to cut out the back. Well, I mean, that's pretty quick. And even speeding it up, it seems like it's slow. So I have all the pieces, and like I said, I just sewed it together. And what I did here was just a straight stitch all the way down. And I had cut myself a little bit extra so that I would be able to trim away excess. And then after I sew it with a straight stitch down, and I will speed this up because it's so slow. I will go back, trim off the excess fabric, and then I'll go back over it again, wrapping my thread around the edges to close the seams. Sort of like a zigzag, but just by hand. And like I said, I only showed this part where I'm sewing it together because, I mean, you can see what I'm doing. And it's just the other arm in the tube top. And I think I hand sewed the tube top to the skirt that I made in a later video, but I seamed up the sides of that skirt on the machine. It was the only part that was I can't say machine. Sewn. There you go. I said it. So, and the distressing part of this and painting it and everything was really fun. I can't wait for you to see it. But this video is going to focus mostly on the face, the repaint. And I don't even think I could finish the entire repaint because it includes doing the burns on the face and neck and getting the repaint going. And that took, I think this video is going to be an hour and a half. So it's I ended up having to stop. I went to lunch, and then when I came back and looked at the video, I was like, okay, this is just too long. So I'll just continue it on next week, finishing up the face and moving on to the rest of the customizing. And I'm hoping I can finish up everything in the next video. I'm going to try. I just don't want it to run too long. I mean, like my sculpting book that was, 3 hours? It takes forever to upload those videos. They take a long time to render, too. But even this one, at an hour and a half, is going to take a while. So the sleeve fits, and usually when I want to flip something like this over, I use a safety pin, and I bought some, but I can't find where I put them. So I ended up using this little tool, and then I used some tweezers to pull it out on the other side, and that worked perfectly. It just pulled it right out. So, and then I realized I was backwards, I think. I was like, why is that tight? So I flipped it around, and voila! We have one arm sleeve. And once it's painted with the green and darker red paint, it looks really cool. So I went ahead and made the other one. Yay! And then, I went ahead and made the tube top. So I know it's getting really close to the time to start with the face, and I'm excited to show you how I did the burns. They were so easy, so it'll be fun to show you what I do. And if you want to say how you would do it below in the comments, that would be great. I'd love to know what other people do for stuff like this. So please do. Or if you've got better ideas for anything that I do, because a lot of times I'm just winging it. I like to make up things as I go. I mean, obviously a lot of it runs on experience, but you know. Anyway, on to the face. So today is painting day, and I know I want to make her look burned, and I kind of want to go with the Freddy Krueger look. So here's a picture of him, sorry, but you can see how he's got like these burn marks on his face, and I'm just gonna do maybe like just a little bit down the side of her cheek. And I picked up this doll at a garage sale, so clearly a child has had a little marker fit there. So I'm going to just try to slice that off of her cheek, and it won't matter because this is where I'm going to put the burns. So I'm trying to be careful with this thing and not hurt myself at the same time. I just sort of carve that right out of the vinyl. I know it doesn't really matter, but I kind of want the divot there for the burns. I was going to do the burns first, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to wait for it to dry. You know, I just want to get into the painting. So I'm not sure if I have the patience for the drying time. Let's see here. This is where the burns are going to be. Just on one side, I think I'm only going to do one side. I'm just going to kind of cut out some sections on this side of her face. And this is where the burn got her. because I just want to keep her pretty and doll-like, but also burned. So I'm just going to cut some of that vinyl away. Maybe down to over here. Yeah, let's just take some chunks out. Ah, poor girl. Well, if anybody wanted to change her, they cannot now, because I have just sliced and diced her. Okay, is that enough? I think so. I don't know if it's deep enough. I'm going to be putting, I don't know if it's deep enough. This blade is not very sharp at all. I think I have, let me see if I can find something else. Okay, I remembered I have something terrifying. A scalpel. I bought a package of scalpels. So I'm going to think that there's a lot sharper. They are pretty sharp. So I'm doing pretty good. I just have to make sure that when it slips, it doesn't slip into my hand. All right. That is a pretty good divot there on that side. She's got bangs, so you're not going to really see any burns on her forehead. I'm trying to decide if that's enough. I wanted to go a little deeper so that it, you know, when I apply the prosthetics, that it will, you know, it won't be too topical. That's a good amount of cheek out of her. Right, that should be good enough. Let's put this bad boy away. It's terrifying. Okay, so I've already done the boobs and stuff like that. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, that's just a piece of the vinyl. So I'm going to spray her now. I've already cleaned her, so I'm going to spray her. And I think we're going to paint first and make her really pretty. I don't know. Part of me is thinking I probably should do this part, but I just feel like painting. You know what I mean? Whoopsies. I feel like painting her first because I just feel like painting. I'm thinking. The way that I'm going to do the burns is, it's probably the first thing I should do. I'm going to add like tissue here with Mod Podge and then kind of like make it look like burns. Probably should do that first. Maybe I could just use a blow dryer to dry it so it won't take so long. Let's just do that first, then I'll spray her. Then I'll spray her. So let me gather a few things because I'm gonna be smart. The thing is that if I get any of the Mod Podge or anything on the part of the face that I want to paint, like the lips or the eyes, I can remove it. But if I accidentally do it after I paint it, then I'm going to mess up my repaint. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to suck it up and do the... It's not that I don't want to do the burn, I just don't want to wait for the drying time. Okay, so the easiest possible thing I could do is just basic tissue paper, just like the cheapest toilet paper you can find. It doesn't have any patterns or anything on it. and some Mod Podge. So I'm just going to drop the Mod Podge in here. And it's almost kind of like doing, oh, I don't want everything to be kind of jagged here. It's like doing paper mache, sort of, you know. So let's just go ahead and get a brush that will be good for this. I think a little medium brush like this would work. And I definitely need toothpicks. So Mod Podge, cheap toilet paper, and toothpicks, and a little brush. And I think that will work well. I did this method for Jamie's back. I'll put a picture here. For Outlander. I don't know if you ever saw it, but he has like a really badly burned back. So that's how I did that. Okay, let's make these a little smaller. She's so tiny, so let's make them smaller. Little bitty. I'm just gonna kind of like drag and shape these on the face. So let's just get it to kind of Yuki. And go ahead and I kind of want to get some of the extra off of there so that it's not too Yuki. And then just put it right on the face. And you can see already why I didn't want to do it while I have the repaint done, because I can just take something and wipe that away. All right, it's very ooky. I need a Q-tip to wipe away my mess. I don't want it on the eye area. Q-tips certainly come in handy. Alright, let's just make sure none of that's on her eye. Because I'm going to be doing her like super makeup-y as well. So I don't want to get in the way of where I'm going to do that. Eyelashes and things like that. So all of this is going to be in my way. There we go. Okay, I don't think I'm going to need very much of this for my burn. So now what I want to do is I want to take it and kind of shape like where the burn would be, like the skin melted away. I can bring it down here. Maybe I should bring it onto the neck too. I don't know if you remember, I'll go ahead and remove this really quick. I did the boobs on this already. So it might be cool to put it on the neck to hide any kind of lines I might have left. Okay. This looks cool. And it's super easy. I don't see a lot of lines, but maybe just like right here would be a good place. Let me take some tissue and put it in the goopy goop and just put it on her neck. Just like right there on her neck and the shoulders. I didn't get enough Mod Podge. There we go. To get it to stick. Where's my brush? There we go. Alright. I'm just going to push that and mold it like right to her. And then I can take this and kind of like stretch it to give it like a melty skin look. Kind of flatten it down. So uh-oh. I think the brush will work really good in kind of like smoothing this down. I got this really wet with Mod Podge, so I just feel like that's the fastest way to do it. See how I've got that little hole right there? I want to do another one like right here. So it looks like the skin is like melting from being burned. That's the goal there. All right. Do I want to put burns anywhere else? Let's see. Her arm things cover most of her arm. So this on her neck is probably fine. On the side of her face, do you think that's enough? I mean, I could put some here, but right here I think it would be covered with bangs anyway. They come down like to here, so you're not going to really see it. Maybe just a peekaboo, like right here. I'll just do a tiny, tiny, tiny bit, which means I gotta cut a piece of that or tear a piece of that. I need such a little amount. Okay, so just the tiniest bit right there. I'll just do it right here so it goes down and it'll just peek from underneath the bangs. Let's get it goopy. Well, I got way more toilet paper than I needed. I barely needed anything. A little bit of, swipe that away, and then make my melty skin. I'm just dragging it down so it looks like the skin is melted. All right, I think that's all the burn I'm gonna do, and now I have to wait for it to dry. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my blow dryer. I'm just gonna spend some time blow drying it, then I'll be back to paint. So that is really all there is, unless I do some on her leg or something like that up here. I think if I do that, I'll do it later because I haven't really even decided on all this part yet. So I think I'll wait. This is where I'll leave off. This seems like it's sticking out too far right here. Need to push that down a little. There we go. All right, I'm going to blow it dry, and then hopefully I can just go straight into painting. All right, so I have her all dried for the most part. I was trying to be patient, and she feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. And she's sprayed. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch in her face, and I don't have anything to follow. I'm just going to kind of make it up as I go. So, and I'm going for like a big doll-eyed repaint. So not so much realistic as it is going to be more doll-like. Let me get up in here and see where I want to go with this. I'm just going to kind of make it up. So I want the eyes to be pretty big. Alright, so there's one. Let's give her an eyelid. Okay, so I got the first eye in. You can see I'm really going for a big eye. Let's see if I can copy that over here. That's the problem, trying to get the second one to look the same, right? Well, that doesn't look quite right, but that's okay because paint can correct some of that. I don't know where my little eraser is. I have to find it, but I don't think it's that necessary. I can fix that. So let's give her an eyelid. And I'm just sort of following the doll's own curves of her face, her own eyelids and stuff like that. And then I'm gonna make I think she's gonna have probably really dark makeup. As well. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. Let's do some eyebrows. And the eyebrows are going to be, let's see here, I want to start here, and I'm just going to I don't know if I want them to be really necessarily evil, but maybe this one's not, probably needs to be sharpened. Maybe something like that. Same thing over here. Kind of give it an arch. Something along those lines. So that gives me kind of and I feel like there's way too much space between her eyes. So I think I'm going to draw those eyebrows in just a little bit further because man, she could park a car in here. You know, so I'm going to take some liberties there and bring those eyebrows in a little bit more. I can always shorten them on the ends to make them more this way. I'll also use shading here and here with the Pan Pastels to help narrow that space because that's really wide. So let me kind of give you an idea of what I want to do for the lips. I want them to be really big, like super tall. So I'm going to go way up here, almost directly under her nose, and give her like these giant lips. And this particular pencil's not really drawing very well. It is I don't think it's a watercolor pencil, so that's probably why. That's okay, I just needed kind of an outline. Oh, you know what? I need eyeballs, don't I? So let's see, the eyeball will go... I almost was thinking about turning it, but I don't think so. You know where she's looking to the side? I don't think so. I'm just going to sketch in a really big eyeball on both of these. And I think that's good enough just to, well, that looks like it's over a little bit. Ooh. I think that's good enough for me to get started. So let me get some paint. So I wanted to do something a little bit different with my paints today, and I picked out some colors. I'm not sure which green I like better. I'm kind of leaning toward this yellow citron color, which is really pretty in folk art. Maybe a little bit better than the kiwi. So I think I'm going to go with that one. And I didn't have a dark enough green. I have this green, this marsh green and apple barrel. So I pulled up my Jenkins from Golden's in case I need a darker green. Then I'm going, so this is the eyes so far, and then I'm going to use this color, which is, it looks like a burnt sienna, but what do they call it? What's the name of you? Traditional burnt sienna. That is the name. And that's from Americana. And then from Apple Barrel, some Golden Sunset. So those are going to be the eye colors, and then black, of course. But I'll probably use a different black from either Golden or the Liquitex. But I wanted to, I'll put down all these colors at the bottom. And I wanted to do something a little bit, you know, just go with a craft paint and see how that went. It'll go fine. You can paint with craft paint, it'll be fine. And then for the lips, I've got this Tuscan Red, which is so pretty, isn't it? But I think I'm going to make it almost black. So I'm probably going to mix it with some black. And there's my Jenkins green, which is one of my favorite colors. I went to Hobby Lobby to pick up some new colors, but they didn't have anything, any new supply. So hopefully that will stop being so dried up. But for now, before I put all the colors in my palette, I'm going to go ahead and go in with the Pan Pastels and get some blushing and stuff going first, and play with those, play with that burn. That'll be fun. So I've got this little tiny brush here, just a little crappy brush. These are ones I buy in packages. I buy a lot of brushes in packages, especially when Hobby Lobby has that 50% off. I'm looking to see, because I know I have a new package around here somewhere. Here it is. So I'll just pick up packages like this from their line, and they're just super cheap brushes, so you don't even care if you mess them up, and they're usually about $4 for all of these. And Dollar Tree now has some too, little packages of these kind of brushes. This is probably a better value overall, but either way, you know, it's a good deal. So let's go into the burn first, because why wouldn't I? Hold on. Okay, I wanted to pull up a picture of Freddy Krueger just so I could kind of see what his face looked like. No, I don't know where my glasses are. Okay, I had to find a picture of Freddy Krueger, and now I've lost my brush. I was messing around. What the heck did I was just showing it to you? I was literally showing you that brush. Well, boo. I want that one. Okay, I found it. I'm a mess. All right, let's do some. Okay, so it looks like he's got like a fleshy color over top. Is that like a hair stuck in there? Do I want to try to pull it out or just let it be? I guess we've just incorporated that into the work. I think before I start working on that, I'm just going to go ahead and fluff in some just regular color on her face, and just get busy on the overall face, so I can start matching it to the chest. So I'm just going to start with my burnt sienna tint. I'll go over all of this just to, is she going to scratch over here? Well, I guess she's going to have a little burn right here. And that is fine. That's one good thing about doing a doll like this is it's like it doesn't really matter. She got really dark on the body. I don't know why, so I'm going to lighten it up just a little bit. And come back up here and darken up the face a little bit. Well, be careful now. Let's blend that with some of this. Some of that up at the top. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm mixing the red iron oxide with burnt sienna tint, and I'm just using that as my little bit of contouring, especially since it looks like I used quite a bit of red iron oxide on the body. So I'm going to highlight the boobs a little bit more with some burnt sienna tint. It's hard to remember that, to say that every time the right way. So let me cut out with some red iron oxide a little bit around her jaw area. She is a little bit darker of a doll anyway. You can see her skin tone is not super light. So I was probably just trying to match the boobs up to the rest of her. And that's how she ended up getting so dark. That's okay. She's a burn victim. She can have a little bit of a tan too. Alright, so we're getting there. Get some, I'm going to get the permanent red, do some cheek color here. Same thing over here, she would have some blushing still. And back, the great equalizer is the burnt sienna tint to just sort of blend everything out. Okay, and that looks pretty good. I'm going to keep going. I didn't know there was a flaw on the doll here. I never noticed it. And so I'm fine with it because, you know, it doesn't really matter. We'll just enhance it actually, even make it even more something. All right, I'm going to go in to the inside of the wounds. Oh, I lost my picture. I'm going to go into the inside of the wounds with a combination of red iron oxide and burnt sienna tint. I'm going to just get some excess off on my thumb and then put it like right into the burn holes there. So I just want to kind of darken those up, and down on her neck, same deal. Just trying to put it inside where the, you know, it's almost like it's showing muscle, I guess. And over here too. And I'm going to make a fake one here since I didn't make a real one. And then I'll have to highlight around it. Okay, so one in the middle. There's one here. There's one right here. Okay, I think I'm going to get a little bit of a smaller brush. And I'm going to go in with the iron oxide, the red iron oxide, around the edges of this, just to make it darker on the outside, and then I'll go brighter red on the inside. So let me just drop some of this on there. I'm just trying to put it around the edges of each burn so that it looks dark. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Okay, let's go with the brighter in the middle. And we can, as in me, but when you're doing it, you can build this layer up. So if this one isn't going to be dark enough, we'll just add another layer and spray it. Okay, and then I think I would want to go around the edges a little bit. I think I'll use that other brush. It's got a little bit of both colors. I'm just going to kind of go around the edges of the burn to indicate trauma. And I do think that's coming out pretty good. Same thing here. And I think I'm going to take a little bit of black. So I'm going to be bold here with a little bit of black. I mean, it is charred, right? I'm just going to blend it out on my thumb so it's not too much. And get like right around in there. Just barely. On this one, I'm going to grab some lighter color because I'm just going to make it look highlighted like that, and then I'll go around the edges on the outside of that with the red iron oxide just to indicate another wound. And I think that looks pretty good so far. I'll probably have to spray it and do more work on it, but that's a good beginning. I don't know how far all over the place I was. So now I'm going to take the God, I can't remember the name of this one. It's the light, kind of a lighter brown, burnt sienna shade. I'm going to take some of that and maybe just a little bit of the burnt sienna tint just to lighten it. And before I go and do the spray, I'm going to narrow her nose down here and here. And this brush probably has a little bit of all the colors mixed in there. You know, if I keep on using the same brush. I just want to make a cute little nose. I need a clean brush to brush away the excess. I'll need something smaller to give her nose more definition, but for now, I just want to kind of bring that nose in because it was so wide there in the middle. And I guess I'll finish it up in the middle for now with a little bit of highlight. Just right there. And cleaning off that brush, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do some highlights underneath her eye. And bringing that in here to highlight that area even narrows the nose further. That bridge of that nose. Okay, and let's give her chin just a tiny bit of highlight there. And if I can get to the top of the lip here with this big old brush, I don't know, it's pretty big. I just want to kind of highlight that area to make her lips look like they're more fluffy. I'm going to go up underneath the nose too, right there. So highlighting down. So I'm putting a highlight in the middle, a shadow here, and then another highlight here to make the nose look more narrow, even more cute and buttony. And I'm going to do a little highlight right here and above those eyebrows. I think that's good right there. Not a lot. Not a lot. I definitely think I just want a little tiny bit more shadow right here. Just to further narrow that gap there in the middle. Okay, where's my fluffy? Well, here's this first. This will do. And while I'm at it, I might as well do some eyeshadow. I can't decide what color. I might want to use green. I think, is this green? What color are you? You are raw umber. Well, it looks kind of green. We'll put a little bit on the eyeshadow area here and see if we like it. Just right here. I may have gotten too into my highlight. Okay, I'll just draw it out just a little bit there. And I'm going to clean that off. I need some highlight right here underneath the eyebrow. I'll just use my clean brush to blend it out a little bit. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to go into that white and just even add more highlight here. It wasn't quite bright enough. And you know what's going to happen as soon as I spray it. It's going to disappear. You can always add more. Alright, so there we go. I think that's good for now. Well, I wanted to use the other color. I want to make the scars stand out. We'll spray it and see how it looks so far. So far that's, oh, I don't even know if I was on camera. So sorry. Okay, so I was just into it. This is definitely not dark enough. I might even need paint if the Pan Pastels won't do it all the way. But here we go. Let's go spray. Alright, so I forgot brown for the eyebrow, so it's going to be probably melted chocolate with maybe a little bit of black. But the first thing I want to do is paint those irises. I just really want to. So I'm going to go with I'm going to see if this is enough color, if it's bright enough. The thing with these is there's a lot of filler in them. So I don't know if the color is going to be quite, oof. I wonder if this one's old. Let's see here. Oh, it's very yuck. Okay, well, there's that one. I really could use some replacement colors. Like I'm surprised I don't have a forest green. Maybe I do. I should look. Sorry about that. So I've got the golden sunset, the yellow citron, and this green is marsh green. And like I said, I'll put the colors down in the bottom. So these are the only three I'm going to use. I'm going to grab my Anita's just to help me a little bit. This one looks like it needs to be mixed up a little because it was real watery when it came out. But I'm not going to bother with mixing the other ones in a flow improver. I think they'll work without it. So I'll grab my favorite brush, which for right now is one of these guys. The well, I need my glasses. The Monogram Petite. I still like these a lot. So I've got my water over here and I'm ready to go. I'm just going to go straight into irises alone. I just want to paint the irises. So I'm going to start with this green and see if it's going to have enough punch. Maybe. I don't know if it's quite vibrant enough. It's kind of a muted green. All right. I don't know. I haven't decided. I'm going to go in with the yellow next. I'm just going to put it here. And I can see this one's pretty runny. It might not work for me. So I think what I'm going to do is grab the kiwi because I need. Is this the kiwi? Is this the one I used? No, I used the citrine. Kiwi. The kiwi has a little bit more body, but it also has a lot more white in it. Let's see. Those are the two colors. One's more yellow and one's more green. So I'm just going to brush that in over top. Maybe the two together just need to be mixed together, but this green is not giving me life. I need something that just packs a bigger punch. Let me look. All right, I found this satin green. Let's give this a try. It's a Martha Stewart color. I don't think that's going to do much more than make it darker. That's a no. I need vibrance, you know? This is also very muty. Don't they have anything bright? I need to go shopping for some colors. Oh, I like this one. Now they're just going to have so many colors. Ooh, look at that. Apple green. Yes. Okay. Apple green's definitely going to have to get a whole nother palette just to try to get this to work. If I just wanted to use, okay, that's all the greens I have. All right, well, I'm gonna have to do this then because I need a vibrant green. So I have this, it's an ink, acrylic ink in permanent deep, green deep. So I'm really sorry, but I really need it to be vibrant. So I'm just going to put, so just look for your most vibrant green paint that you have. For me, it seems to be this one. I just really need it to pop. That's what I'm looking for. So, okay. All right, what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna do the circles. I haven't even done the white for the eyes or anything. Okay, so what was the color that I liked? I liked this apple green, so I'm gonna drop that there. I liked the apple green a lot. I'm scooting up. And I'm gonna put that, I'm gonna put that right here. And that is a much better color. Okay, so apple green with a very bright permanent green. This is that's what that's called. It's permanent green deep. I think a forest green would work really good, like a bright forest green. So I'm going to take that green right there that I just got, and I'm going to do this with it. Just draw it, little lines all the way around, pulling that into the other green. So what I'm looking for here is to create some color variances. Alright, so see how bright that's getting? That apple green is really doing the trick. I'm going to go back over that, what I just did, with the, let me check some of the extra out, with the apple green again. Just right on top. Okay, and so while that's drying, I need some black. I'm just going to use the black straight from Folk Art. Put it wherever it'll fit. Hold on a second. Sadly, my black was all dried out, so I couldn't use that one. I think I had another one, but I forgot to grab it. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is use the black from Liquitex, because that's my freshest, newest black, and make an iris. And I'll make it pretty good size. Because I'm going for that like doll-like image. I don't normally paint the iris without, you know, painting around the eye. And I'll do that in just a minute. I was just really anxious to get to this eyeball. That's a good start. Same thing over here. Wipe off the excess so you don't do much. You don't want it to be sticky or bulky, you know. Is that the right word? Alright, that'll have to do right there. Okay, and I just keep on dropping colors on this palette, but I think the main color would be a forest green, an apple green, a forest green, a gold. I'm definitely going to add a gold, and a burnt sienna. So those are going to be the main ones, besides, you know, your typical black and white. So here is the burnt sienna, and this is actually a pretty good color. This burnt sienna looks pretty bright. So I'm going to go around my pupil lightly. On both of them. Alright, that's pretty good. Put a little bit underneath this one. And we have a little bit of an outline there of the eyes. So I'm going to go ahead in with the black and do some eyeliner work so that I have a frame here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, which is something I think I normally do first. So I'm just going to frame those out. haven't decided on my eyeshadow yet. I'm thinking mossy, smoky, something like that. Well, so far it looks okay. It needs a lot of work. Okay. And I guess while I'm here, I'll just go ahead and do some white in the eyes for now, just a very little bit. I'll come back in and do the I feel like my approach on this was completely different than normal. That's okay. It is okay. Over here, same deal. Thicken that up a little bit. And a little bit on the top too. No. My paints are in the way of my napkin over here, my paper towel. Okay. They don't have to match yet. I'll get to it. I'll get to the matching. Alright, well, that's pretty cool. Doesn't look perfect yet, but you know, we're working on it. So I'm gonna go with the chocolate brown. It's melted chocolate in apple barrel. And I'm going to just sketch in the eyebrows very lightly so I can make them out. I just want to make sure I can see them. Come on. Well, they're on there, kind of. Okay, so I guess this is where I'm going to have to draw in and get a little bit more serious, which means I got to get down into this. A little bit. Okay. Burnt sienna. I'm always dipping my brush in a little bit of Anita's. And that's where I'm going to start cleaning up the edges here and making a dimension in the eyeball. My paint might not last as long as I didn't mix it with Anita's, which is fine because I'm gonna need a break in between this, and I'll just get new paint. Okay, a little bit of the burnt sienna on the inside here. I guess we can go ahead and do that on the other eye. A little bit more. Okay, so I've got her braced down here on the table so I can rest my arm on holding her, just to make it a bit more comfortable. I could maybe even get closer for you. Alright, I'm going to take, I haven't used this, I don't believe, the golden color. I want that somewhere in between. Okay, and I'm going to do that on the other one. I'm still not quite getting these shaped up yet the way I want them. If you get anything a little too chunky, you can just quickly wet your brush and wipe it away. Alright, I'm going to take this weird green right here that I picked up, that Martha Stewart green. The color is called, oh, I have this craft store one. Maybe I'll use that. I don't know yet. The Craft Smart is olive, and the one from Martha Stewart. Where the heck did I put that? Martha Stewart. Oh, here it is. This one's a satin, and it's called None Your Business, apparently, because I don't see the name. Oh, it's Seaweed. Seaweed. Alright, so I'm going to try some seaweed, and what I'm going to use it for, let me do that again, because I think I was off camera. So, right here is where I put it, just here and here at the top of the eye, just to create that kind of a shadow, so it looks like that the eyelashes are shadowing. And then I'm going to take some black and some white. I'm just going to make a gray here on my palette, so you can see right here. So I'm making a gray on my palette, and I'm going to go right here and here and here and here, and just sort of start creating a shadow so it looks like it's shadowed. Maybe I got too close, I don't know. I keep on scooshing back. Let me see if I can't move you a little bit better. If I move it up like this, that might be better for you. Okay, back into the Anita's and the chocolate, the melted chocolate. I'm just going to go in and work a little bit on the eyebrows. So, and I'm just sort of dragging my brush along to create little lines. I'll come back in and add extra a couple other colors, maybe mix some black in with some of this chocolate and get it to darken in areas, and maybe some highlights too. So how's that look? I don't think it's, something's on my foot. I don't think it's thick enough of an eyebrow, so this would be a good time to add a little bit of black to that. And dip it into Anita's to make sure that I get, it doesn't drag too hard. You know, I get a smooth paint. Alright, that's looking pretty good. And the dark helped darken up the eyebrow. I'm not holding myself very steady, and I'm really, really sorry. I'm pulling it up closer to myself so I can see without bumping the camera with my head. A Monster High has a pretty, well, this is an Ever After, but it's same principle. They both have pretty big faces, so it's not like painting a Barbie. A Barbie is so much smaller. This eye is really big. All right, now that I got that one eyebrow done, I'm gonna rest between eyebrows. I'm gonna take some white, wipe some excess off. I didn't get quite enough white. Too much Anita's. I'm gonna wipe a little off, and I'm gonna create some lines in here. Just start tapping in some lines. I don't like how hard that line is, so I'm just going to tap in some white. And now I'm going to take that permanent green, that bright green, and wet it down with some Anita's, so I can make it really thin. Oh, well, that's not good. I just stuck my finger right into paint. Right here, I'm just watering it down, because what I want to do is I want to create a gradient here, right between the darker line and the lighter line. Then I'm going to come back in with the apple, and I'm going to make sure that I get in here while it's still pretty wet and blend the two together, so there's no distinguishing line. I have to move. Okay. All right, let's see how that looks. Okay, so I'm going to take that permanent green color up here a little bit. Well, that's too much liquid. Let's try to remove some of that. I didn't need that much, but it's really thin, as you can tell. And you can already see the difference between the two eyes. Like, one's starting to grow into what I want it to be, and the other one's still kind of just the outline. So I'm going to go back in with the apple. I really like that apple color, and I'm just going to kind of feather it very lightly, just really a little bit into. I just love that apple green. It's so pretty. I think I could use more. I'm going to use the white here. I just sort of tapped it in because I'm going to put the, let me wipe away the excess there. I'm going to let that dry. So while that's drying, I'm going to get some of the burnt sienna and go back in around the iris, the pupil, and kind of pull that color out around the eye. Okay, could you see that? I don't know. I feel like I'm sort of shaky today. Let me hold her steady and try really hard not to move her. So this is the burnt sienna. I stuck my finger in the burnt sienna, like the whole nail. And I'm going to take from the black iris, pupil out, I'm going to just pull color all the way around. So there's like little shards of burnt sienna coming from the pupil. And now that the white has dried, I'm going to come back in with my apple and go over it. I think I can add a little bit more apple here and here. And then I want to come in with the gold between the apple and the burnt sienna. I just want to add some gold in there. Get more of a golden shards between the two colors. And there's not a lot of space, so you kind of have to just sort of dot it in. Alright. That is pretty good. And I think I'll go ahead and add a highlight just so I can see how it's looking. So just pure white. And I think I'll do like a little circle. Well, I was gonna do a little circle. I needed some Anitas to thin it out. Alright, so finding the tip of my brush. I'm going to do my highlight like a little half circle. Like that. Try to darken it a little bit. Or lighten it, as it were. And there would be one maybe here. But that seems like it's too much. So I'm going to take a little bit off of the shadowy part. And that is an undecided shine, because to me it seems a little bulky. So I don't know if I like it or not. I really haven't decided, but I can always fix it. You know, it's not set in stone. All right, let's take some, let's go with some brown. I put a tiny dot of black maybe. So I'm going with the melted chocolate. And I'm going to go around the edges here, just to deepen this up over here. I feel like it's way too white. Okay, and I can probably go down further with the black. Now that I've got something going there. I think. I really am not sure about this. Highlight seems really bulky. Alright, well that eye looks pretty good. It's only 10:30. It feels like it's like 1:30. How is it so early? It feels really late. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of black. I'm going to have to pick her up and move her so I can see what I'm doing here, because I'm not happy with that highlight. I feel like it's just too chunky. Alright, I think that looks better. What I did was I just like took the black and lessened it. I might brighten up the line, but for now, that's good. And I feel like I need a break from eyes, so I'm going to do something fun and go into my burns. So for that color, I have this really fun Tuscan red in Apple Barrel. So I'm going to see if I can find a spot on my one here somewhere. Put a bag here, just a dot of it. And I'm gonna get some Anita's because it's too, needs a little loosening up. And I'm gonna go in and darken those. And it looks like I can go even darker. Yeah, that looks pretty gross. Let's move this down a little bit. I'll have to pull out some brighter red too to go on top of this. I can still see that hair. Definitely gonna have to cover that. I think maybe I'll just do it with paint. I'm just gonna go right over top of it. Like that. So it's like under there. Okay. Let's come over here and darken this happy accident. And the burns up here. Whoa, I got a little messy there. Take some of that off. Okay, so I'm going to take this one, and I looked at him, and his burns look like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, like they look like lines of skin. So I'm going to try to draw that with the flesh tone. So I'm just going to do like these lines all around to indicate scarring. And then what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll shadow around them to make them look even more scarry. Yeah, that's starting to kind of pop. Going around to look like the highlights of the scarring. And let that dry. Go in with the bright red. And I'm not being super neat with this. And the fun part about this too will be I'll probably put Mod Podge over all of it. And then I'll put like a shinier color, like a shinier Mod Podge, the luster, right on the inside of the burn parts, the red parts that look burned. I'll go ahead and make those, keep those shiny. Alright, so that looks pretty good. And I think I'll take some burnt sienna, water it down a little bit with, I think I want some chocolate, which I think I stuck that into, a little chocolate and burnt sienna and some Anitas, and I'm going to thin that out and kind of wash around the scarring to create shadows between them. I like how I said that like it was a question, because alright. You know what's really going to help this too come to life will be the Mod Podge over top of it. You know, because scars are always kind of like slightly shiny. So once I spray it everything down, and then I come back in and do the Mod Podge, it's gonna look cool. So it's all about building it up, layer by layer. Okay. Alright, so that's starting to kind of have that, it's been burned look. Yeah. Oh, I forgot the neck. I forgot the neck. I avoided looking at anybody who had real burns because this is movie burns. This is not real life. I don't want to look at real life burn victims. I think that's so sad. So I'm sticking with just the fake stuff. I'm going to drop in a little bit bright red in the middle there on some of these just to make it pop a little bit more. Same thing here. And it's okay if the paint gets a little chunky here. It's scarring. It's not supposed to look pretty. All right. Well, I took a little break from the eyes, so I guess I have to get back to it. And oh, I'm gonna take this fleshy color here. Need some Anitas. I'm gonna take this medium flesh tone here. And I hope it's light enough, and go like right here. I want to highlight this part of the eye. It's definitely not light enough. So I'm going to take some white, if there's anything left in there. The white's drying really fast. Let's move this paint around. Is there anything left here? Hello? No? Nope, nope, nope. I need some more white. Let me just keep digging in it anyway. I got something. Right, well, I want a little bit of the flesh in there so it's not pure white. Okay, and I'm going to put that right here as a highlight. I'm sticking my finger right in that wound.